Hi, folks. Thanks for choosing to listen to this episode. I just want to let you know before we get into it that I've done an overhaul on Patreon. So if you want to get early access to episodes, bonus episodes, and much more, head over there and sign up. Next week's episodes are already there waiting to be listened to. Okay, that's enough from me, so enjoy this episode. Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The show is about to begin.
Welcome to the podcast, concerts that made us, interviews and stories, tales from the bus. We love taking you back to when it all went down. The greatest live shows and that cheering crowd sound. It's concerts that made us, concerts that made us.com.
Hi, I'm Jody from Jody and the Jerms.
And I'm Niall from Jody and the Jerms. And you're watching Concerts That Made Us.
Niall and Jody, you're very welcome to Concerts That Made Us.
How you doing? Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's great. Now, I'm looking forward to diving into your music over the next bit. Now, Jody and Jerms recently released the track Winter Heart. It's a great kind of upbeat track. Can you take us deeper into it?
So I guess it's really about unrequited love and not kind of admitting if a relationship is over, and just sort of hoping the universe are going to bring you back. Is going to bring you back together.
And from a musical perspective, it's kind of one of those songs where it's kind of happy and sad, bittersweet, which is quite often what many of our songs get called, bittersweet. But I'm happy with that. And I mean, it's maybe a bit more kind of acoustic-y. It's got some really nice violin on it than we all necessarily always do. But yeah, really pleased with how it's come out.
Speaking of the violin, it features acclaimed violinist Erica Nockalls. How did you manage to get her on the record?
So just asked very nicely, and she was more than happy to oblige. I kind of sent her an acoustic demo, and when I say demo, I mean a phone recording of me and Jody singing in the kitchen. And yeah, no, she thought it worked really well acoustically, and then said she'd be more than happy to put some violin parts down, which she did. So yeah, no, it was the first time we've had violin on a record before, and yeah, we were just really pleased with the way it came out.
Is this a direction we can expect in the future? Will you be trying to get her back for more tracks, maybe?
Yeah, you never know.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we kind of used to have two guitarists in the band, but Pete kind of had to step away from it for a bit, forever. Who knows? And I'm the other guitarist, so it kind of left a bit of space for when we were recording. And Pete was a better guitarist than me, so it kind of left a hole. So yeah, no, it was great that we were able to fill it with Erica.
I like it. I like it. When it came to recording production, you had James Welch and Tim Toran working on it. What was the dynamic working with the guys like?
I mean, this is a studio we've only started using recently this year, basically because our drummer really likes the drum kit. Yeah. But it's a nice setup, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
they're nice guys, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it just feels quite relaxed to do it with them. So yeah, it's been good, hasn't it?
Yeah, and Tim Turan, I mean, he's part of Oxfordshire royalty. I mean, he's been kind of mastering records for everybody, and probably literally everybody in the entire universe. And he'd kind of mastered some stuff that I'd done in previous bands, a long time ago. He kindly mastered this track, went round there, had a very nice cup of coffee, spent the afternoon chatting about sort of Oxfordshire music over the decades, and once again really happy with how it came out.
I like it. Was there any challenges that popped up along the way, or any memorable moments that you can share with us?
Well, it's kind of when we've so with James, we kind of try and do the track all in one. So we have the drums, the bass, the guitar, and I try and put a guide vocal down. And it always seems really, really fast, doesn't it? For some reason, our drummer, I love him, and he's absolutely brilliant, but he always goes very fast. So it took a few tries, didn't it?
That might be me as well. I like to go fast, but I mean, it's a new way of recording for us because we only got going just before lockdown, so. A lot of it was done remotely or in sort of ones and twos. So this year we've tried and get as much of a live take as we can. And you love doing guide vocals for 3 hours, don't you? And then having to do your proper vocals. Yeah. So there's some challenges there, but it's all good fun at the end of the day. And last year we were recording in Oxfordshire with Mark Gardner, who produced our last album. Wander, which is somewhere hopefully over the ocean coming to you, because I stuck it in the post a couple of days ago, so that should be with you on lovely pink vinyl. But I mean, we've used 3 or 4 different studios and different producers, and it's always good fun. It's always a good result, and
it's been great.
Exactly.
Is there kind of a comfort thing when you get used to using the same producer? Is there a fear in stepping away and going to a different or a new producer?
Yeah, I think so. So the first one that we did a lot of our work with is lovely Mike from
Magic Mike, from Safe House Studios in Oxford.
And he's just he's just one of our friends now. He was just perfect because I'd never sung before, so to walk into a studio, it was so alien, and he's just so kind of relaxed, chilled, and it really helped. So yeah, it is hard moving then moving on to another one. But again, with Mark Gardner from Ride, he was amazing again, wasn't he? Really helpful and chatty and very chill guy. So far, they've all been amazing, haven't they?
Yeah, and Mike, the first guy that we kind of put the band together in his studio, literally. He's doing our sound next year on tour. He's driven a van for us in the past and stuff. So it's all a lovely, nice network of people we've worked with and stay in touch with, etc.
Sounds good. Now, Jody, you mentioned you hadn't sang before. For listeners that aren't aware, what is the story of the band? You formed in 2019. As mentioned, you hadn't sung or been in a band before. Niall, you had some success back in the 2000s with the Annie days. But what's the story? How did, Jody and the Jerms come about?
Well, I kind of got coerced into it. But if you kind of explain.
So from the Any Days in the noughties, where I was a bass player, I kind of had never really written songs or really played guitar that much in a band. So 2019, I thought, time is right. I've written a couple of songs. Let's go record them. I'd lined up a guy called Joe who was going to be the singer. And we'd booked the studio with Mike, and literally no word of a lie, Joe, like the day before, got the lead role in Mary Poppins in the West End, and he just said, "Look, I'm not going to be able to commit to this." And he's a lovely guy. We're good friends. But then, I had two songs, a drummer, and no one to sing them. And the worst case scenario would have been me singing them, because that's not pretty. So I kind of cajoled Jody into coming into the studio, and had never ever been in a studio before, and it just all clicked. And we got the songs recorded, and then 6 weeks later we were being played on national radio in Spain, and then the whole BBC introducing thing came along, at which point we thought, wow, we've got a band. So then we kind of got some new members in.
But I still didn't kind of believe it. I still thought, I've just done a guide vocal as a favour to my husband, and that would kind of be it. But it's carried on.
Yeah, you still think that, don't you? I think, yeah.
I still don't consider myself a singer most of the time. But it's been great. It's just a completely different side of me I never knew was in me. So it's been really good.
Yeah. Had you even dabbled in singing before? Was this like first legitimate singing?
But only at school, like school productions. I've done a couple of those, but I'd never, ever even thought about doing it.
Is that primary school?
One in primary and one in secondary,
Okay.
But quite young, still about 11 was about the last time.
That's nice.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And, next year, you're releasing a best of in 2025. When it comes to best of records, how do you decide what makes the final cut?
Oh, it's really difficult, actually, isn't it? Especially with 6 of us in the band and all with our own ideas, really. So we haven't decided yet. We're all kind of just throwing ideas in, aren't we? I know. We've
got a gig tomorrow where we've got to play 2 sets, so we're going to play every song we've ever done, pretty much. So we'll kind of get a clapometer going or something like that, and base the selection on that. But no, I mean we've got kind of 14 songs. All our songs are kind of under 3 minutes, so that's an A and a B side right there. We'll figure it out. We're pretty close. I mean, if you think, we started releasing right at the end of 2019, and since then, we've done 3 albums, 2 EPs, a whole bunch of singles. That was kind of the rationale behind the best of, because we've done so much in a short time, it feels, and it'll be quite nice just to consolidate it all on one record. That's kind of a best of, literally.
I like it. You made me think of something there as well when you mentioned 6 members in the band. How do you, handle disagreements if they ever pop up? Because I'd imagine with 6 different personalities in the one band, it can be a bit of a nightmare at times.
It's been okay, actually. They're really lovely people. So it's been fine. And from the beginning, we set out really to say we're just going to do this with a bunch of friends, and that seems to have worked, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. And they all offer their own musical contributions. Me and Jody, or Jody and me rather, will write a song, and then we'll just literally send once again another phone recording to the rest of the band, and they'll come up with their own parts. Then we'll get together in rehearsal, and every time it's always worked. I don't think we've ever had to say, that's rubbish, what you're doing, what you're playing at. It's always really, really good. And so we've got a nice feel collectively, I think, of what the Jerms are. So it works. I mean, even sharing a van, it's I don't think we had any problems, do we?
No. But it is quite nice. There's now another female in the band, I have to say, especially going on tour with a bunch of smelly men. So it's quite nice to have a female.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear. Now, the podcast is called Concerts That Made Us, so I need to ask you some concert-related questions. First off, as a concert goer, what concerts would you say have made you?
I'll go first. So I'll go right back to Nebworth in 1985, might be in 86. Queen. Yeah, I'm old, but I was really young at the time. I had to get a cousin who just turned 16 to take me. But I very much remember seeing Freddie Mercury at Nebworth in 86. That was amazing. Around the same time, that cousin took me to see Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Chair. So, that was really early, sort of, your mind as a 12-year-old to see things like that gets massively, shaped. And since then, there's been so many from, the Pixies at Brixton Academy. That was pretty special. Even seeing Ride, we saw them a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? At the Roundhouse in Camden. That was really good. But I mean, there have been so many gigs over the years. But there's some of my highlights.
So for me, I guess when I was quite young, I went to see Madonna in the Blonde Ambition tour, and that was just such a spectacle. And we've gone to loads of festivals over the years, and I think my favourite was probably the Scissor Sisters, actually, which we saw somewhere in Scotland.
Yeah, that was Tea in the Park, wasn't it? They put on a really good show, didn't they?
Yeah.
But I mean, who else? Pogues, they were really good.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, many good shows. I mean, it's always hard to say what the best one is, right? Because they're all different for so many reasons. But there've been a lot of good ones. More to come, hopefully.
Exactly. Good list there, though. And for any listeners, viewers not aware, can you tell us what the scene in Oxfordshire is like?
It's buzzing. I mean, there's a lot of bands. Not as many venues as there used to be, but that's kind of how it is everywhere, I'm sure. But there's just so many big characters, and it's very supportive. I mean, we'll be playing there with other bands watching us, and vice versa. And it's got a rich kind of history, hasn't it? I mean, obviously you've got your Supergrasses and Rides and Radiohead, etc. But even before those bands, there was a really good kind of punky indie pop scene, kind of late 80s and onwards. And we're lucky we've got some really good kind of studios as well set up in Oxford. And despite the fact that it's kind of town and gown to some extent, there's a lot of a student population. It still kind of works because you've got also car factories and the biggest council estate in Europe there as well. So it's a real kind of for want of a better phrase, melting pot. I hate that phrase, but that's the only one I can think of. It kind of works.
Oh, sounds interesting. Now, for any listeners that haven't been lucky enough to catch one of your shows, what are they like? Can you give us the full experience?
Wow, where do we start? The main thing is that we want to have fun, and we want to kind of show that and make everyone feel happy. So it's great if we can get everyone dancing.
Yeah, we have fun. That's the main thing. If anyone else does, that's a bonus. But I mean, when we did our first gig, got reviewed by the Oxford Music magazine, and he used the phrase shambling in a positive way. That's a lot of bands used to be, there's almost a shambling scene where it was chaotic, but it kind of worked really, really well. But we kind of developed from there, haven't we? Now, where half the band aren't absolutely nervous and trying to do a runner beforehand, which generally used to happen. We've kind of got a confidence now that we never used to have, and we try and keep it as upbeat and energetic. I think that's probably the main word, is it? Energy. I mean, we don't sort of hold back, and just love doing it, and hopefully that rubs off into anyone who's in the room at that particular time.
Sounds like a hell of a show now, I must say. And out of all the gigs that you guys have played, is there one you can think of that stands above the rest? It was a high point, would you say?
I think for me, it was we supported the Frank and Walters last year, and we're going to do it again next year, aren't we?
Yeah,
and it was just, they're just brilliant anyway. They're hilarious and so just lovely, aren't they?
Yeah,
and it was incredible being asked to support a band like that, and just the whole night was amazing.
Yeah, it was at the Hare and Hounds in Birmingham, which is, you know, one of the big kind of grassroots circuit venues, and it was sold out, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun. But there have been others, haven't there? I mean, we've done some festivals where, you know, the sun's setting and, you know, we're playing one of our songs, and we're all kind of looking at each other thinking, oh, this is all right.
Yeah.
So, I'd concur with Jody there about the Hare and Hounds with the Franks. That was great.
I like it. I like it. Here's a bit of a fun one now. If we switch that around, maybe in the early days, is there a gig you would consider the worst? You know, things fell apart, and how did you overcome it?
Well, funnily enough, the next day after the Frank and Walters, we were kind of on a mini tour, and I won't say names or places or anything like that, but it was kind of a small festival, and you know, the weather was awful, and it was late, and it was, you know, the last couple of bands, and people were leaving and packing up, and and it's someone associated to the festival was kind of saying, you got to cut your set short, and just being really kind of negative. And I kind of might have said, oh, have you got somewhere to be, or something like that, and then he kind of bit back, and then the other guitarist got involved, and it just kind of descended into, you know, a bit of an unnecessary situation, but we still went ahead and still played our set, and people still enjoyed it. But it's I think that's you know, an example of the highs and lows you can have in a very short space of time. You know, we've done all the gigs where the PA breaks down and you have to think on your feet, or your amps break, or you're ill, or you know, you've kind of got a sickness bug or something, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, that's happened, but it's all part of life and part of the experience.
Very true. Very true. When it comes to show time then, how do you guys get ready? You know, your pre-show and your post-show. How do you psych yourselves up afterwards? How do you like to wind down?
Well, drinking.
I'll just tune my guitar and walk on stage. It's kind of that simple, isn't it? No.
I find it really hard. This is one part I do find hard, because the rest of the band could just have a drink or something to try and relax. But as a singer, I can't believe I call myself that now. It's still funny to hear. But I always feel that I can't even I usually have one, don't I? But just that I don't feel that I can do as much as you guys do, I guess, until afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of preparation, I guess, working out the set list the week before, and, you know, making sure we're all happy with that. And then, just getting there, doing it, hair and makeup, all that good stuff. That's my hair and makeup. I don't know what you do.
Do you have a routine for your voice? Do you like not speak for the whole day or a couple of hours beforehand and stuff like that?
I try and warm it up. And also Mark Gardner taught me about these tea bags, didn't he? Yeah. So they're like a vocal one. So that kind of thing, and honey water, and just generally just trying to make it nice and soft before I go on.
I getcha. Is there any fan interactions or, you know, messages from fans that have stuck with you to this day?
What would you say,
Nicole? I mean, it's so amazing. This happened a lot when we got going, where you know, sort of people would come up after a show and just say, "Oh, you sound like Kirsty MacColl," and it just became a thing, didn't it?
Yeah,
and
it's just amazing.
Absolutely love Kirsty MacColl. Anyhow, but just getting these nice references from people you've never met.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time we got played on sort of a fairly big radio show, you know, we'd been going for about a year. We were playing at the Jericho Tavern in Oxford, and genuinely about 6 people had driven down from Manchester and Leeds to come and see us. And we were chatting to them, and, you know, I was saying, "Oh, you know, you're not from around here, are you?" No, we've driven down to see you. I'll go, "Yeah, of course you have." But that felt so humbling that, you know, I think as a band we brought their drinks for the rest of the night, and I mean, it's nice. It's nice when it happens.
Absolutely, absolutely. And before we dive into the final few questions, so future plans, we've heard about the best of album. Is there anything else you can share with us that's on the horizon?
We've got a gig coming up in Oxford on the 15th of December.
Yeah.
So it's quite a few local Oxford bands all
At Bullingdon, yeah, that'd be a good
together.
one. But yeah, next year we're going to try and do another tour of the UK. We've done two. We'll probably try and base it around that show in Newcastle with the Frank and Waters. We played a show in Sweden this year. That was good fun. So we might try and get to another overseas country. So yeah, working on that. But who knows? I think that's part of the joy of Jody and the Jerms. Don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it can go quiet for a bit, and then you get someone say, "Oh, I heard you on Six Music or whatever," and you think, "What?" And then that gives you a bit of momentum again, and who knows? But I think as long as we're enjoying it, and as long as we're writing, and find it fun, then we'll keep on doing it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to mention as well, when you're planning tours or whatever, remember Ireland is literally only an hour away by plane or ferry.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I'd love it. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we've definitely sold some records in Ireland, and we get some nice press and radio as well. So yeah, I mean, we've got a few feelers out for sure. So hopefully that will happen.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We'll dive into the last couple. So there are a couple of fun random ones. First off, besides music in the band, what are you guys currently obsessed with?
What about you? I'm still massively into cake baking. I did it as a job really for a few years, and I'm still doing that a lot. And kind of probably Nordic thrillers TV program for me.
For me, it would be walking the dog, which sounds very boring, but we've got this massive kind of deerhound rescue dog we've had for the last 8 years, and he's lovely, but he's quite hard to control sometimes. But in the last 6 months, I found this really, really massive walk I can take him on, and just by the nature of it, you're kind of at the top of the hill looking kind of all over the downs, and you can see anyone coming from about 3 miles away. So when the coast is clear, I've just got him off a lead now, and he's loving life again, isn't he? Charging around, and so that's kind of my secret obsession, which sounds long, really, dog walking, I suppose, isn't it? But rock and roll, that's what keeps us busy.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. The next one, it's a bit strange. If you had to spend 24 hours locked in a room with any musician from history, who would it be?
Oh, I'd have to say Kirsty MacColl for me, without a doubt. Actually, it would just be amazing. We still play her songs all the time, don't we? And have a little cry. So yeah, I guess her.
Yeah, wow, great question. I'd go Joe Strummer or someone like that maybe. I think because absolutely love for Clash, and in the Any Days we went to Spain and we played in Granada, which is where Joe ended up living, I think, towards the end of his life, and met a few people, and some guy in a bar took us back to this kind of home studio where he'd done some recording and stuff. And we heard a few tracks that had never ever seen the light of day. But that'd be an interesting 24 hours for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh man! And the final one. What's your go-to album? An album you constantly revisit?
I'm going to think now.
It's probably "Wander" by Jody and the Jerms. When you're trying to remember the words for our forthcoming gigs. Hype, Kirsty MacColl for me. I think that's such a good album. That it was kind of the culmination of all the stuff she'd done on Stiff, and hadn't quite had the success maybe that she deserved. But it's such a good, well produced record. I really like that.
I'd probably go quite old, really. Probably either Wonder Stuff, 8-Legged Groove Machine, or anything by The Cure, really.
And Parallel Lines as well.
I like it. Some good choices there. Listen, guys, I have to say now, this was an absolute blast. Thanks a million.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thanks for having us. And yeah, definitely 2025 Ireland.
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. And if you're interested in signing up to Band Builder Academy, use the link in the show notes below and enter the code CONCERTS and you'll receive 10% off. So, until next time, keep rocking. Hey, what are you guys still doing here? The show's over. It's over. You can go home. Go on. We'll see you next time. We'll be here. Bye.